have a chat about things. Was it a good vacation then, Maeve? Maeve, who had been visiting her enormous extended family in Dublin, gazed fondly at Jazz and said, "Great, love. The very best. I'll tell you about it later. Are you two off now?" Fee and Jazz were both heading tactfully for the door. Fee held up the red velvet dress. "Have to finish this." "And I've got a meeting," said Jazz. "I'll be back by 8. There was no need to elaborate. They knew the kind of meeting Jazz meant. "Good lad." Maeve nodded approvingly, knowing full well that it drove him mad. "Don't do that," Jazz sighed. "If you call me a good lad again, I shall have to hit you." "Ha!" said Maeve, winking at Suzy and Fee. "I'd like to see you try." "You should have let me know about Blanche earlier," Maeve scolded when the other two had left. "You know I'd have come straight back." "And ruined your break?" Suzy gave her a look. "That's exactly why we didn't tell you. I've been fine. Really." She smiled. "Still. I'm glad you're here now." Maeve gave her another perfect hug, the kind Suzy had spent so much of her childhood missing out on. This one lasted for several minutes, which was heavenly, and just what she needed. At last Maeve broke away and said cheerily, "Now then, my darling, I've picked you out a little present this morning, just a little something to cheer you up." You could love someone to bits, Suzy had long ago discovered, yet still inwardly cringe when they opened their mouths and certain words came trilling out. Mentally she braced herself, while Maeve bent over her bag and got down to some serious rummaging. Maeve's passion for thrift shops wasn't so much the problem as her tragic taste in little presents, which she bought at the drop of an orange knit cap. "Maeve, you shouldn't have," said Suzy, although this was advice that Maeve sadly continued to ignore. "Nonsense. The moment I spotted it, I knew it was right up your alley." Maeve gave her a kiss and watched with pride as the tissue paper fell away. It was a brooch. A huge perspex brooch with a photograph of a young Donny Osmond inside. Donny was baring his teeth in one of those unforgettable Osmond smiles and holding out a bunch of red roses that looked suspiciously fake. Fresh tears pricked the back of Suzy's eyes. She was touched by the gesture, but still mystified. "Why? Why is this brooch right up my street?" "Doesn't he have the most gorgeous eyes?" Maeve said happily. "It's like fate, I'm telling you, finding it there in that shop." "Fate?" "Sure. And weren't you only telling me last week about that policeman fellow you thought was the bee's knees? What was it you said at the time?" Maeve raised her eyebrows, willing her to remember. When Suzy shrugged and shook her head, she went on. "You said he had a pair of eyes to die for. Gorgeous blue eyes. So you see, I thought at once it was the perfect omen." She held up one finger. "And then the rest of it began to fall into place." "Go on," said Suzy, fairly sure that Donny and his 500 brothers had had big brown eyes, not that she was old enough to remember. "Okay, so now, Donny Osmond was a pop star, and you're crazy about pop stars." As she held up a second finger, Maeve was triumphant. "Wouldn't you call that another omen?" "I'm crazy about pop stars." "Hey, you married Jazz, didn't you?" So that was what that bit was about. Suzy hid a smile. Something else that drove Jazz mad was being called a pop star, but she could see that Maeve was bursting to tell her the third omen. "I married Jazz. Of course I did. What else, Maeve?" "Look what he's holding. Red roses. And here's you all ready to bury your mother." "I didn't order red roses for her wreath," said Suzy. "Ah, but you'll be wearing that red velvet dress, though, won't you?" Maeve clapped her hands together, delighted with her own foresight. "And don't the roses in the brooch exactly match the colour of the dress? I'm telling you, they'll go together like a dream." That was it. Suzy knew she'd have to wear the brooch. It was like a mother being given a badge to wear by her 5-year-old bearing the message, "World's greatest mommy." All you could do was pin it on, cross your fingers and pray hard that everyone would understand.